the best things to sell are things that are like bulletproof. This is bulletproof. This is bulletproof.
Yeah,
Those are the two best things to sell. And you can make enormous, crazy sums of money.
pretty
300 grand a
ridiculous.
month. All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to an episode of Copies for Closers. Me and Big Daddy Caden are going to be talking about just selling for your personality. I think a lot of people are running around buying sales training, trying to get better, which is great. And they're just like blindly following
Yep.
what they're being told, which is fine. But at some state, you got to realize who you are as a person, and then either try
Yep.
and lean heavily into it or try and counter it to some degree. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about this one because I've seen it on two very big extremes when I was working with Real Financial and spent some time in the Lion's Den with Andy Elliott.
Hmm.
And also seen the extreme from our alma mater, the old seventh
Yeah.
level. And they're
Yeah.
two completely different things, completely separate. But I started to see a lot of like they attract very different people.
Yeah. And I don't think that that's necessarily like just because they attract it doesn't mean that they should do that style exclusively.
Yep.
I think and I don't think there's a wrong. I think if you say like seventh level's way of selling is the right way and like Andy's is the wrong way, for example, that's not correct. Like
No.
there just is like if you try and get someone with the conviction and of Andy Elliott, who's like, I've spoken to the man, he is a like look straight through you,
Yeah.
like, but very good at connecting with people, obviously.
Yep.
Um, and probably, and like, I've met him in person, but extremely charismatic,
Yes.
right? If you try and dull that down with like neutral words and language, it's just not going to come off. But he's like a unicorn level charisma. That's why he's so big online, you know?
Yep.
Um, and then you take someone who's like super leaned out and stuff like that, and you try and make them do that, it's going to be silly, right? So like they're not going to pull it off. Like they don't have it,
Yeah. For most people, there's
So
probably like a happy
combination.
medium. Um,
Yeah.
but in insurance and in both of the things that we're in with committed coaches and insurance, you see it to almost an extreme because there are offers that pull that out of people. Like the
Also, it's offers.
mercenaries.
There's a lot of newbies as well that are
Yeah.
sycophantic about particular ways of doing things. But I was told this. I don't give a fuck what you're told. You sound stupid. Like
Yeah.
it's like, what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
That's a good way of doing it, but you suck at it, so probably try it a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Try it a different way. I think that the hard thing is most people need to change their personality a little bit, or not maybe not change their personality, but change how their personality comes through when they get into sales. Because most
Yes.
of the world basically tells you that you need to not be confident and not be convicted, and if you are, you're an asshole. And then you get into
Yeah,
sales, and if you don't have confidence and you don't have conviction, regardless of your personality, the confidence and conviction is necessary.
absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. It seems to come up an awful lot. I think in trainings, and I think in the training we had with the sniper insurance guys last week, I sort of covered it, and I was like, guys, like, but one of the tests we were like, hey, who would raise your hand if you would tell someone to fuck off if they cut in line? And
Yep.
the guys who were like, no, it's like, well, then don't use like an NEPQ-esque, super leaned out tonality with neutral words.
Hmm.
Maybe could be possibly because like you're not someone who's really forthright and direct. You're
Yep.
more leaned out, neutral, passive, right? And so you're just gonna make yourself sound like you have no idea what you're talking about. You try and do
Yep.
that sort of a little bit of that confused old man tone, like, hey, I'm just wondering, you know what I mean? But it comes off as like you're genuinely confused while you're there,
Yeah.
right? And
So
the
we're
biggest difference I tell people is like, you sound like you're confused why you exist. Caden sounds like he's confused why you haven't moved forward yet.
yeah.
That's the difference. And it's like it's a very subtle but very obvious difference at the same time.
Yeah, you're not
And
confused with dementia. You're Jeff Bezos walking into a gas station in the middle of the nowhere because your phone died, and you're like, "Where the fuck
yeah.
am I? And how do I get back to the highway?"
Yes, exactly. But you're like, but just point me in a direction, mate, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, not like, hello, what's that now? All right. That's my scammer voice whenever I get my kids love it when scammers call me. And I know because immediately in Australia, if you call me from a landline, you're a scammer. And so
Yeah.
I put on speakerphone and I go, hello, what's that now? Like that. My kids piss themselves. They're like, sir, you need to go to Kmart and you have to get a gift card. And where now? What card? They hang up on me every time. I love it. Anyway, side note. My kids even get me to like talk to them in the old man anti-scammer voice.
They like to see it.
Um, yeah, they love it. I think it's hilarious. Um, but yeah, so but I think like, I'm a very direct person. You're quite a direct person as well. So that like NEPQ style for me was like great. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I think it's a great style. I think it's a fantastic selling method, right?
Yep.
I would say overall, I think it's the best one, but there's a huge caveat to that. Whereas, like, I think if you don't understand how that system works, and if you're newish to sales, and
Mhm.
if you're not a direct and forthright and confident person, I think it will make you significantly worse in the short term,
Yep.
until you figure it out. And I see these people come on to committed coaches and they're like, hey, it looks like you're maybe possibly looking for some help losing some weight. And it's like, oh, I hate you.
Well, it
Like, I
doesn't
don't want
make
to have this
sense
phone
for
call with
what
that
we're
person.
it doesn't make sense for what we're doing there because they're buyers. And so because they've already like at community coaches, we don't have any leads that aren't buyer leads. And so because
Yeah.
they're
I think there was
buyers
only 11,000 yesterday. So if you're looking for some leads, link in bio.
yesterday. Um, yeah, and if you guys want to
Yeah,
be on the best team, link in this bio. Uh,
whatever. As long as they come in.
as long as they come in. Um, but it's funny because they're already buyer leads. Like they already know they have a problem. So if you act really confused about whether they have a problem or not, that doesn't make sense. They already bought something for it. Like, what are we talking about? Uh,
Yeah,
I agree with what you're
exactly.
saying, though. I was that person where I did NEPQ when I was very new and I sucked, right? You once described me actually on this podcast a few years ago as one of the most miserable people to train because I sucked so bad. But I wouldn't give up.
Nice.
I wouldn't give up.
I'm
um,
an inspirational coach. That's what I aim to be.
Here we are. It's
Right?
funny how it comes full circle. But I
Yeah.
overcomplicated it and I tried to become a different person to do NEPQ. And because I'm naturally pretty direct, right? But I was
It's
trying to
exhausting.
do, what?
It's exhausting trying to be
Yeah.
a different person all day.
Yeah. I
It's
was
hard.
trained
Yeah.
every day, burned out, trying to work long hours, but you can't. And it was when I spent time around Andy, I didn't stop doing NEPQ. Right. And for what it's worth, Andy never tried to get me to stop doing NEPQ. All he did was like build me up personally. He,
Yeah.
he just made me feel
Just
better
give you
about
more
me.
confidence.
He gave me way more
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
confidence. And that
Yeah.
combination in NEP, he just gave me the permission to be myself within NEPQ.
Yeah.
And that's when I
And
started
that's
having the
that's
biggest
actually
leaps.
huge. Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. Like, I mean, I think people are, instead of taking key concepts, they're trying to take something holus bolus and they're trying to adapt it. And it's like, one, you don't understand it. Two, you didn't even practice it. You just start to implement it, right? Which is stupid. And then three, like, you haven't really thought about it. And then you've got, so that's like one thing. Then you've also got like really direct styles, like you're more straight line, right?
Yep.
Like straight line is a steamroll, and it's a steamroll from start to finish, right? And I think that is a great way to sell, just like I think NEPQ is a great way to sell. I think that if you're a steamroller and you drive a steamroller, I think that you will end up like steamrolling a bunch of people, but also putting a whole bunch of people off.
Yep.
And so a little bit of neutrality, just a little bit of tonality, and some intentional things there to soften that a bit, make that way better.
Yep.
you know
Exactly.
and so yeah, and then there's Cardone type selling, and again there's like and like Zig Ziglar, right? I don't know if you ever watched anything from Zig Ziglar, but he's like charisma and stories and
Yep.
like the guy that you just want to talk to all day. I think out of all sales trainers that I've ever seen, Zig Ziglar would be the most fun to be around.
Yeah, for
right? He
sure. I
just
have watched some of his
seems
stuff.
like, yeah, and like but if you're not naturally super leaned out, neutral, and like the I don't give a fuck type
Yep.
mentality, you know what I mean? Um, or if you're not like super confident, convicted, or if you're not this like charismatic storyteller, and if you're not like a steamroller or whatever. So you got to kind of do a bit of a self-assessment of where you are in like your natural proclivity. And then
Yep.
from there, you've got to figure out, okay, I've got to balance that out a little bit. I was on a sales training yesterday with a team that I've been training for years. And
Hmm.
the main guy, he's a good dude, but he is a fucking steamroller of a sales rep, right?
Yeah.
But he has crossed the line recently between like he's gone to like there's a bit of venom behind every question. You can hear
Mhm.
you can hear that it's like and the guy's quite religious, and so I was talking to him the other day and I was trying to put it into his words, and um I was like, hey man, like let's just say you're trying to convert someone to the gospel. They're like, yep. And I was like, and they don't want to hear it. Would you go, hey man, it's fine. I'm going to heaven. Right? Like, would you say that? He's like, no. And I was like, well, that's what you sound like on sales calls. And I was like, that's not how you change someone's mind. That's how you make them feel stupid and make it feel like you feel like you're right.
Yep.
And you feeling like you're right doesn't change anyone's mind. Okay.
Yep.
And so you've got to figure out a way to like take who you are and don't change who you are. But when you educate, right,
Yep.
when you're trying to persuade, you have to like soften or harden your basic line personality traits through methods that you can control,
Yep.
you know? And that's tonality, that's the use of like the actual words that you use, stuff like that. I was like, you need to work on that because like right now it's just not working. And then you got on the other side, we got another guy on the team called Michael, who's like probably like the most genuinely curious human being I've ever met. I don't mean curious as in weird. I mean like he's just a super curious person,
Yeah. He
right?
just
He's
likes
like,
to
oh,
know.
what's that? Oh, he's like, oh, what's that? Oh, I mean, and he just kind of dives into shit, right? And man,
Yep.
he's fucking
Interesting.
crushing it because he is like he's really studied like a script in the system. He's really, really like interested in sales, and so he's gone down the
Yep.
rabbit hole on it. But he's so naturally curious about people that he's like, oh, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And they just go. And they
Yep.
just within 5 minutes, he's like the best friend, and they're just giving him everything he needs. What he needs
Yep.
to work on at the end is a little bit of slappy slappy to make daddy happy at the end,
Yeah. Get
And
through it.
so yeah, and so it's just super interesting when you see these like I used to train people the same way,
Yep.
regardless of like and like over the last couple of years, I've really realized you've got to give people the advice that's right for them, and that's it. Like just like it's got to be specific for them
Yeah.
because
Because
someone
wrong
like you,
advice.
I could break you as a sales rep. And we've seen it. We've like handed people off to other people
Yep.
and they're very dogmatic about one way of doing things. And it's like, I get it.
Yep.
But like that person's meek and meeker. Don't give them a neutral script. That person's a steamroller. Don't give them a steamroller because they're going to steamroll anyway. Now they're just double steamrolling,
Yeah. Now they're
you
offending
know?
people. Now you have complaints.
Yeah, now we're getting mad complaints. We told the guys the other day actually on the insurance call, we were like, you should get a complaint every now and then,
Yeah.
because
There
people are
should be
like
some
pretty
people.
soft shelled.
Yeah.
And so if you're not offending anyone, like like
It's not a good sign.
surely, surely someone's offended.
So for
You know what
somebody
I
that's
mean?
like a type A person that is more steamrolly and probably a little bit more logical, um,
Yeah.
let's say they're a little bit newer to sales, uh,
Mm.
10 grand or less a month. What would you be like? Yeah, these are a couple of good options to go sell.
Is in like industry or is in like styles, like styles to go learn?
No, like industry.
Um, you know,
Or
I
does it
think you
matter?
can get by. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter really. But I think that, if I've always said like, I mean, if you're at 10 grand a month, like you're not bad at sales, right? Like
Yep.
I mean, obviously it depends what you're selling. Let's assume you sell something that has any level of decent commission. You're not selling a $10 widget and you're the goat, you know?
Yep.
Um, right? Like 10 grand a month and $2 commissions. Like, God damn,
That's a lot.
motherfuckers crushing it, you know? So yeah, but I think like there are a couple of things. Anything where any like the best things to sell are things that are like bulletproof.
Hmm.
Insurance is bulletproof, fitness is bulletproof.
Yeah.
Those are the two best things to sell. Like I don't give there's a reason why me and you are in insurance and committed coaches. Because
Yeah.
like they are the best things to sell. Because if you can crack the code on insurance, you can have a career forever and you can make enormous, crazy sums of money. I mean, like
Pretty
300 grand a
ridiculous.
month. Like we both know people that have made 300 grand a month selling insurance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not selling final expense, making 300 grand a month. You know, but
You got to get there
fuck
somehow.
me, you can make a lot of money in that industry. As a sales rep, not as a person that owns a giant agency. Like you can make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
I've seen dudes make 90K a month who are like selling a combination of final expense, mortgage protection, and like general life,
So,
and they're been in sales for 6 months. Like
yeah.
I have seen that happen myself. There's a guy in Dollar who did that,
Yep.
right?
I know exactly who you're talking
Just
about.
fucking yeah, the ex-professional athlete dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He just fucking worked like 12 hours a day. He fucking sold all day. That's all he did. You know what I mean? So, but fuck, good for him. And
Yeah.
then, so I think that that's probably like if you're looking at long-term career prospects, I would say that and like B2B SaaS, you know what I mean? You can make a
Hmm.
good living. You'll never make that kind of money. But if you're looking for a thing that you can make 250 grand a year,
It's more
right?
stable.
Have a lot of consistency, not have to spend your own money and fucking, you know, have a pretty good work-life balance, like selling more B2B software type stuff. When I mean B2B, I don't mean like selling fucking coaches and consultants business, into like fucking shit like that. It's like, oh, I sell B2B. It's like, no, you don't. You sell that dude into shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like B2B is like multiple decision makers, stakeholders, enterprise level stuff, right? Like I've been trying to close a deal for fucking 4 months, right? There's a
Yep.
deal with New Age Education, right? I think I'm maybe even 5 months in, right?
Takes a
It's
while.
always a week. It's always a week away, And the level of follow up game, they're actually my follow up. They send to their reps.
Oh, let's go. It's a game now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I'm getting them. There's no. I sent balloons to their office.
I saw that post.
I tell you. Yeah. I sent balloons. Um, I bought a couple of domains that I redirected to Rickrolls.
Oh, let's go.
Come over. Yeah. I've got a plan for when they sign up too, but I won't say it on here because they watch. Um, but yeah, like it's just the way it is. You can't get frustrated. It's like you just gotta like follow the bouncing ball. You know what I mean? I think that's a great thing to do. But again, it takes a lot of patience and all that kind of stuff. But fitness is, I think, the best thing to get into. Like if you're a new
Yeah.
rep, if you're a setter that's looking to transition, I think come on down to Committed Coaches Town. I don't think there is a better offer in the world. I
No.
can confidently say that. I mean, like was it $3 million a month 4 months ago, 7 million last month, right?
Yeah.
Cash he collected, USD dollars, right? Not fucking pesos. And not fake money either. Not like fucking saying it on Instagram to be cool. Like they don't post anything.
No.
Um,
No,
yeah.
nothing at all.
Hey,
It's
the
hard to
website,
find
pretty sure, is
information.
just coming soon. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, phenomenal business, like good people, interesting model. And if you're a sales rep that wants to learn, get after it, like that's a fucking great place to be because, they have a way of selling, which I think is good. Like Eli Sanchez runs
Yeah.
runs most of the sales. I do some sales training. I do a lot of recruiting for that place, but because like, man, if you're a rep, you can fucking go there and you can kill it.
It's a
There's
good
tons of
opportunity.
different products to sell. You know what I mean? There's like lots of different products. Just if you don't like one, you can go to a different one or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And there's lots of different sales training opportunities, but also like you can get reps. And if you're going to practice one style, it's just fucking talking to people and not sound like a fucking weirdo.
You can
Like
get
not a
reps with not a lot of
weirdo.com.
pressure. Like there's not a lot of pressure. You're not going to get,
Mm.
nobody's calling you if you didn't close somebody because there's 11,000 leads. We're not, I think we had 40% lead coverage last week, um,
Yeah,
or
it's
something like
fucking
that.
wild.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
just
wild.
yeah. There's more leads than there are people to fucking call them.
So,
Uh,
I maybe another good question that might be a little bit more appropriate. And what about the people that don't, they know they need to get better at their tone, they know they need to get better at the things you're talking about, but they don't know how. Even if they maybe they paid for a training program and they've been trying to. Um, I think that I don't know if we'll have the same opinion on this. We've never talked about it before. But how do you kind of start to coach people that, or how would you tell them to get better?
um, what I generally do is I sort of do an assessment on the person's personality, like while I'm talking to them, and you can usually tell pretty quickly, like just in the first 5 words, right?
Yep.
Um, but like I tell them to do like polar opposite, extreme.
Hmm.
I had that guy I was talking about, who's a bit of a steamroller. I had
Yep.
him go, "Hey, I need you to be like the most beta cuck, you hate yourself version of weak and meager on this next role play." And he sounded like a nice guy.
Yep.
And I was like, I know you're gonna hate me for this, but that was 100 times better, and that's what you need to do. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I hated it." I was like, "Yeah, I know, but listen back to it. You just sound like a normal guy." Yeah, I
You're
mean,
not actually
like,
being that beta.
yeah. And so it's sort of like allowing them to do that, and then that positive reinforcement of like, yes, click, click, here's your treat.
Yep.
And then go, okay, that element, and then it's just one part of it. Just go like just your opener, and then script that to the shit house, and
Yep.
then get consistent at it, and then try and work it down. I think that's usually how I sort of fix that. I find that's a good way to fix a lot of weird things that people do. You get them to
Yeah.
sort of try and go the other way, and then they kind of, like you take a really nice Canadian man and tell him to be a real asshole, but be the worst version. You hate yourself, you're the rudest person you've ever met, most arrogant. And they're like, hello. And they're like, that's okay. Yeah, sweet.
Okay. I
Yeah.
guess we're
They're
here.
like, hey, guy, you need to really think about that. you know? And they go, oh, okay. Like, it's sort of like give them permission. Then they can listen back to themselves. And I find listening to yourself is a lot more useful than listening to you know, like review your own calls and then go, oh yeah, how does that actually sound? Try and
I
be objective
actually
about it.
think that if more people reviewed their calls, they could coach themselves, especially like if they're in a membership like yours. It's low cost. There's a ton of videos to go through. You can go through that, get a baseline knowledge base, and then if you start reviewing your own calls, if you can remove yourself from thinking as the sales rep and over analyzing yourself and hating your own voice, and you actually are able to step away, put yourself in the other shoes, most people can common sense their way to a decent script. It's like, what would somebody have to
Totally.
say to me if I was if I filled out that ad and I was here and in that situation, what would somebody have to say to me to get me to move forward to the next part of the script? And you can common sense your way there for the most part.
Yeah, that was, I would say 90% of the sales training that I did was just me reviewing my own calls.
Yep.
Um,
Same.
because like I know what I was thinking, so I can see if my thinking, I think people get really sidetracked by the words,
Yep.
right? But they're not thinking of like the intent of the word and what happened. And so
Yes.
I think if you can make that shift and go, don't worry about like the word track. Worry about, I thought this, but in hindsight, I can now see that I should have thought this. It's
Hmm.
like, how do I learn to recognize that earlier?
Yep.
Right? That's what you want to learn. And then from there, it's like, okay, well, I asked my question like this. This is the words, the tonality, the intonation, everything. And this is the answer I got. Was
Yep.
that the intended answer that I wanted? If not, was the answer vague? So
Hmm.
what they'll do is they'll change the whole question. When in reality, if they just put like a slight hesitation
Yep.
before or after a word, they would then be far clearer what they meant. And so I think a lot of people's questions are vague, and
Yep.
that doesn't mean like it just means that the intent is not clear.
And a
And
lot of times
so
we'll come up with
yeah,
questions that are, if somebody asked them to us, they would cause sales resistance because they sound salesy. But when you're thinking as a sales rep, you don't realize it and you're like, oh, that'll make them buy. And if you just
Yeah.
take 2 seconds to step back and think about if somebody said that to me, would it work? A lot of it is probably no.
Yeah. And then you realize also you don't need a lot of questions. I used
Mm-mm.
one of the things I used to do really deliberately was that I would listen to all my calls and then I would say, did that answer provide anything that moved me towards the sale?
Yep.
And a lot of time it was like, not really. And so I would just axe the whole question, just boom, gone. And then do my script for the next week or two. And then I would listen back to calls and I would say, okay, did that change? That need it? And I would go, sweet. And the length of my calls reduced dramatically because
Yep.
I cut the questions down. And there's all these like filler questions that were just, they were there. And then because I had like analogies and stuff like that and like pre-frames because this wasn't that good. And so I think that those things are a really good tool to use when you're not that good,
Yeah. The better you get,
at
the
like,
less you need them.
yeah, if your tonality is really good, your timing's really good, you just don't need that stuff.
Yep.
And so I've slowly sort of taken a lot of that stuff out. Um, but that element of I think a lot of people have these additive measures all the time.
Yeah.
And if they could just every now and then just reduce, because if you can get your sales script down to like, oh yeah, I can pitch by minute 20, then you have a far greater chance of getting that sale because like no one can remember the totality of an hour-long conversation. Like people just forget
No.
bits and pieces of it. And so if it's
And
going to be forgotten, what was the point of talking about it?
yeah, I've done the same thing in my insurance scripts. I actually just posted a YouTube video about it. But I started to realize that in insurance, everybody's getting it because of identity. It's not it's not like a logistical problem. You know what I mean? Because there are other people
What do you
with
mean because of identity? What does that mean?
like you have insurance, right? To
Yeah.
protect your family. And
Yeah.
there are other people in your same shoes, right, that are making the same amount of money that have a family that probably don't have insurance. And so
Yes.
you view it as a logistical problem, and that's why you're getting the insurance is for logistical reasons, but really you see the problem because of who you are and the type of father you are, type of partner
Oh
you
no,
are.
I was like, I remember like there was an issue with the payment for our insurance, right? As in
Yeah.
like they didn't want to anyway, it bounced a couple of times, but it was like because of the it's in Australia, it needs to come out of a certain type of thing. And I was fucking freaking out calling everyone because I
Yep.
was like about to go on a trip. And I was like, fuck's sake, like I can't have my premium not be paid. That's the best reason to not pay the family if I fucking die.
Yep.
So I was like fuck, I was calling everyone. I was like,
Yeah,
get this
exactly.
fucking thing sorted.
But a lot of
Yeah,
people would not have done that. So most people in insurance, they ask a lot of logistical questions, like what would happen to your family if nothing happened to you? And they try to back people into a logistical corner. And I saw bigger lifts and I was able to duplicate with the team better. Um, just ignoring everything they say that's about logistics and making it all about identity. And it shortened the call time by a lot.
yeah.
And they
Oh, I
convert
mean,
way
like
better.
irresponsible fathers don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
And so it was
Like, if
like,
one of my friends was like, "Oh, I haven't got insurance," I'd be like, "You fucking retarded? What are you doing? Like, let's call them right now. Like,
yeah.
do you not have the money for it? I'll pay it. This is ridiculous."
Yeah, it's
Like,
craziness that people do that.
yeah,
But we view
yeah,
it that way because of who we are. And so I literally removed like 5 or 6 questions that are in almost everybody else's insurance script. And I ask one. I say, so is it more so that beneficiary blank, like if something happened to you, they could come up with the money and like they would figure it out and they would be all right. You just don't want them to have to go through that? Or is it more
yeah,
so that like if something happened to you, they would be screwed? And
yes.
there was like, it took 7 questions to get that answer before. I ask it in one, and there's way less resistance. And they're just like, they tell me which one. They don't care. They're just like, yeah, like they'd be fucked. I'm like, okay, got it.
Okay, we should probably fix that then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. We
yeah.
should probably fix it.
I also like the objection handling. Like these people would try these really fancy objection handling handles with insurance. They go, I want to go in and think about it. It's like, yeah, but what if you die in between now and then?
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty genuine question.
It is a
Yeah, but
genuine.
what if you die in between now and then? What happens? I guess they'd be fucked. All right. Well, I mean, do you want that? Like, do we do we need to think about this anymore? Like, what are we thinking about?
Yeah.
Is it what level of fucked your family is? Let's try zero. Zero fucked. You
Yeah.
want that?
And there's no
Okay.
commitment either. So like, what are we talking about? Like
Yeah.
insurance, legally speaking, they can cancel it for 30 days. There's nothing you can do about it as the agent. Like,
Yeah. But at least they have cover while they think about it.
yeah, now they have
Let's get
coverage
you
while they
done.
think about
Let's
it.
get you paid. You can cancel tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got 30 days worth of coverage. You know what I mean? But at least if you fucking cock it over the next 30 days, at least you're covered.
Yeah.
It's like the least irresponsible thing you could do,
Yeah. What are we talking about?
you know? Yeah. So it's like, anyway, people are weird. But yeah, I like it. So if you guys want more information, and you want to come in, join Caden's team on Committed Coaches, you know, go. I've got some stuff, in the YouTube membership if you want that. It's like 49 to $199 a month. Has access to. I have a call on Thursday with 27 coaches from all different industries who are gonna be donating an hour of their month each month to talk about different subjects and stuff like that. And then next week, so I started a call review submission. Next week,
Oh, let's
we can
go.
review some calls live
For $200 a
on the
month.
podcast. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Well, 50, $49 a month is the cheapest one. You don't get the coaching sessions, but you still get to watch the coaching sessions.
That's pretty wild.
So,
That's pretty wild.
yeah, but I've also got like a call submission. I mean, you can have a little bit of fun and review a couple calls and see what we think,
Oh,
because
that'll be some
that
fun.
is one of the funnest things to do is review people's horrible, horrible sales calls.
They're going to
So
be great.
it'll be great. But it's funny. I had to put on the form. I'm not giving you feedback. You may never hear from this. Don't ever ask me anything. If there's a credit card detail in there, may God have mercy on your soul. Right?
God
Like,
have mercy on your soul.
like don't be an idiot. Just please. So yeah, I had someone send me a core review once. It was a business owner, and I didn't like them. And it had a credit card details and all the information for like this like couple in New York. And so I called the couple.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I was like, hey, just so you know, because it was like so blatantly irresponsible.
Yep.
And like I had told them, and they were like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." I was like, "Oh, it's for sure a big deal." They were like, "Man," so I called the couple. I was like, "Just so you know."
Yeah,
They're
just
like,
so
"Oh
you
my
know.
God, thank you." Yeah.
But they were very
I was
appreciative.
like, "I have your name, your phone number, your email, your physical address, and your credit card number."
Who knows what
Just
can
floating out
happen?
there on a recording.
Did
It's
you
just
use your
floating out there
scammer
on a
voice for that
recording.
call?
I was just like, I got it from these people. They asked me to review a sales call. They didn't sanitize it. I thought you should have. That's a fucking shitty thing to do. You gotta be real careful with that shit because like the business can lose their entire ability
Yeah,
to process payments, but also more importantly, that person can easily be scammed because like that's illegal. Can't do that.
so easy.
Just so you know, guys, you're not supposed to hear the number. That's the whole point of it. You as
So
a sales rep cannot hear the number, so you can't take it. You can't pause the recording. That's not how you do it. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't do it, so whatever. All right, guys, have a good
see
one.
you guys on the next one.
Bye.